scale of this early on in the epidemic. We went to see them in Geneva and told them that they were seriously mistaken and that they needed to scale up and beef up their response quite strongly and give proper advice to the states. And basically what you've seen is a kind of international failure of any form of coherent, organised response for the first 6 months of this epidemic.
Well, the WHO had that meeting then with MSF, but they didn't really respond in the way MSF expected. They just played down the problem. Here, speaking in April, shortly after that meeting, is WHO spokesman Gregory Hartl.
Ebola already causes enough concern. We need to be very careful about how we characterize something which is, up till now, an outbreak with sporadic cases. What we are dealing with is limited geographic area and only a few, let's say, chains of transmission.
So, an organisation, MSF, with a budget of 400 million got it right. An organisation with a budget of 2 billion, WHO, got it wrong. And what does that tell us? Well, it seems that many senior figures in the international community are trying to find different ways of dealing with this outside of WHO structures. The UN Secretary General has set up a new trust fund to receive donations. President Obama talking about setting up his own Ebola chief to coordinate the US response, not really working through the WHO. Well, Professor Jimmy Whitworth is at the Wellcome Trust here in London. Does he think it's fair to say the WHO has been slow and has not handled this well?
I think with hindsight, yes. I think we can say that they have not handled this well and that they've been very slow to act. I think the information that's been coming out of these countries has been scanty and hard to interpret, and it has not always been clear whether we have had an epidemic that is actually mounting or whether it's coming under control or going down. And I think now, when we look at the information that we have, it looks like it's stuttering.
So that's the past, and we are where we are, and now the question is how to contain the outbreak. So in terms of the politics of this, will that fall to WHO, or will it fall to NGOs like Médecins Sans Frontières? Will it fall to other governments? What's going to happen?
I think Médecins Sans Frontières have done a fantastic job so far, but I think with all the best will in the world, they cannot replace the national responses for 3 countries. And what I think is happening now is that national governments such as the US and the UK are looking at the response that there's been to the epidemic so far, and they're thinking it's not been adequate. We actually need to go in now, and we need to really try to confront this ourselves.
When these governments are now trying to deal with it more actively, do you think they should be reversing to working through the WHO? You know, the WHO is now taking it more seriously and it's presumably got structures in place to cope with this sort of thing, or are they just sort of saying the whole organisation is so hopeless, we better do this independently and set up different structures?
The impression I get is that they want to do this independently, they want to set up their own structures. This is going to be something of a problem, I think. This is one epidemic that happens to cover 3 different countries. I think we have 3 different responses that are not coordinated here. We may run into problems in the future. So I think there is a need to have more coordination across the region, and WHO could play a very valuable part in making sure these are coordinated.
Yeah, that's the whole point. International cooperation. So it's obviously very, very serious now. Do you think that